A lot I took. And I've seen that presentation. Well, not that specific one, but I've seen it for years. And I always take stuff away. So, all right, so the first team that's going to go is the Northbridge Lunar Rover team. You're the only one?
Yeah.
You can do it either way. Well, you'll have to come up here because you have to run.
Sam, what are you doing here?
Yep.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Gagne. I'm a senior at Northbridge High School. My other group members couldn't make it today, so I'm the only one presenting. We are working on a lunar rover. Our design, or our plan, is to design a rover that can carry a series of other smaller mining robots to be deployed and take them and collect their items after they've mined them. So the system that we are going to start with planning is an airbag system. These airbags can actually inflate and deflate to raise and lower the height of the rover itself to make it easier for us to get the mining robots in and out. It works much like an 18-wheeler or a coach bus if you've ever been on one of those, or if you've been outside. As it pulls up and stops, you hear that air, it goes down. It'll lower to make it easier for people to get on and off. So that is our first idea. On top of that, we will also have springs in the form of a boogie suspension. This design will use the springs in the form of like spider legs almost, so that they can go up and down freely individually, so that if one leg were to break, the entire system does not go down with it. These will also each have a pump on them that can allow them to move up and down. As you can see in the picture, one of the legs is actually raised. You can use those. And to help with cargo, to help with our carrying of the mining robot safely, we plan on using crumple zones. These are used in most cars. It's called a cell design. As you can see, the front end of the car where the engine would be and the trunk are both designed to crumple and absorb some of the impacts so that you're not experiencing as many G-forces upon collisions. So, our team responsibilities, so me and my friend John Charbonneau, we're responsible for building and testing the design, so our research and development team can come up with materials saying like this one's the best or maybe it's this one, and we can go through and we can test that, and then we will actually be in charge of building and testing the overall rover if we get to that point before the year ends. And then we have my friend Colin and my friend Kevin who are responsible for researching and designing online and deciding which items will actually be the best. And then we have my works cited page. Questions?
Advice, pointers? Get you so.
Let's first find out if any of the other students have questions that you see. Think of all the potential ways. Remember I told you, think about all the different ways things could fail, what problems you might see. Does anyone have any questions for the team right now as they start going down this path? Okay, I really like the fact that you look like you did your homework, right? You looked at what was done before, right? You start looking at what's been built before to work in these areas. A lot of work has been researched as to how to design robots for the surface of Mars and the moon. What went into their thinking when they started looking at designing those systems? That's very important. You should always look at what's been done before and what was the idea. What kind of testing did they do for those systems, right? Think of all the different ways before you select one particular design, evaluate those different ideas. And set up a system for how you would evaluate which idea that you have has the highest probability of success as a team. Very good job.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Simon. Okay. Next up, we'll have certified space eggs with radiation protection.
Hi. We're the certified space eggs, and we did radiation protection. So here's a little bit about us. My name is Sam Bambara, and I like math, and I'm good with computers.
My name is Jack Dord. I like basketball and science.
My name is Zach Eustace. I'm a fan of fishing and also math.
I'm Alex Baptiste. I like skiing and engineering.
I'm Aiden Fournier. I like soccer and I'm interested in science in college.
So, what is the Epic Challenge, you may ask? The Epic Challenge is an event where we plan a trip to the moon and need to figure out a way for astronauts to survive, especially with heavy radiation present. After that's been accomplished, we then figure out a way to establish a colony in either to make the lunar surface a better a habitable area to live in.
So a little bit on radiation protection. Space has a lot of UV rays and radiation that can be very harmful to our astronauts. So we have to make it safe for them to be up there for long periods of time. The Earth has an ozone layer which keeps us safe from all of those things.
So radiation is a detriment in our mission to try to colonize the moon. So basically, since the moon doesn't have any barrier protecting it from solar radiation, the astronauts are susceptible to different types of illnesses, such as different cancers, and it could increase the rapidity of skin aging and cause eye damage, which is all not good for the survival of our astronauts.
So the only competition that appears to be working on this subject is NASA. NASA has already begun research on how to create a magnetosphere to hold necessities such as water and oxygen to make life sustainable on, let's say, the moon or Mars.
So our team is particularly good at problem solving and deep thinking, which we think will be helpful for us in the design process portion of this challenge. Science is also a strong suit for most of us on this team, which we think will benefit us in our portion of the challenge. Using these skills, we think we are best suited for our role in radiation protection in this part of the ICE challenge. And if you would like to contact us, this is our universal email, which will reach all of us.
Words,
Oh,
Drew?
okay. Any other comments? Any other students working on this particular challenge? In any other teams? Okay. Do you have any questions for this? Go ahead.
Because we're eggs.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know the acronym? Yeah, it's Engineering Guys of Greatness.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, there's another question.
Is there any specific type of radiation or what you are looking at?
Well, we were just focusing on solar radiation and solar radiation and radiation from other galaxies. When I was doing my research, I found that kind of interesting. But yeah, that's basically it.
And the galactic cosmic radiations are difficult because they come from all over when you don't have a magnetosphere. So you mentioned that NASA's looking at creating an artificial magnetosphere, and that's one of the ideas, and it's very complicated. And how do you do that, right? It takes a lot of energy. The other ways to do it are shielding. You know, and so as you're researching this, I would highly suggest that you go on the site. There's some subject matter experts that used to work at NASA, some people still at NASA doing work in this area. You're going to have to do a little bit of research to find out, you know, because it is a very tough problem. It takes, you know, feet of heavy metal to basically protect you from galactic cosmic radiation. Solar particle events is another type of radiation. And so look out there, look what's been done before, right? Look at different ways that, one of the things that you can't do is, you know, we have to travel to the other planet. So just the transit time to get there, you're going to be bombarded on all sides. But when you land on the surface of the moon or Mars, what can you take advantage of that's already on the surface to protect you? Okay? Good job, guys. It's a big problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Next up, animals on the moon. And while they're coming up, in your program, at the end of all of these, the list of the presentations, there are 2 boxes. What teams are working on things very similar, or maybe the exact same thing as you? You want to note those teams, because we're trying to build to network, teamwork here, right? Then the box below it is, what teams could you also interface with? Maybe they're not working on exactly the same thing, but if somebody else is working on a radiation from a different perspective, how would that fit? You got one there, and I'll give these guys. Double mic. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
So we were the space racers, and we did our project on animals on the moon. So my name's Calvin Todd. I play soccer. I love trees and long walks on the beach, and I hate Fortnite.
My name is Mark McManus. I play flag football.
I'm Miles. I love playing Minecraft over the Pocket Edition. I hate rap music, swearing, and nuclear energy.
My name is Alex Ott. I enjoy playing broomball and field hockey.
My name is Grady Reardon. I'm the newbie to the group, and I like baseball, hunting, and American football.
So when we first started our project, the first thing we did research on was history of animals on the moon. So a lot of different animals have been launched into space, such as monkeys, dogs, tortoises, mice, and insects. They have all orbited the moon, but no animal has ever stepped on the moon. But why?
Well, they actually started sending animals to space as using them to test if it would be susceptible for humans to live up there. And now animals are being used. They can help to prepare for the hazardous conditions that we could face if we ever tried to take a trip to Mars, and also for a prolonged visit to the moon.
So how can animals survive on the moon? So first off, there needs to be some kind of spacesuit that gets developed so that it's a safe environment for the animals to live. So it needs to be pressurized, oxygenated, as well as a food source for these animals. And lastly, we need protection against ultraviolet rays, as well as extreme temperatures.
All right, future ideas, moon meat. Say one day you're going to be walking down an aisle through Whole Foods. You're not going to see any moon meat packages because they're already going to be sold out. People are going to want this juicy and tender meat because it's going to be very rare to get. And the science behind it is that the animals are going to have very minimal movement. And Japanese have similar theories with the wagyu meat as they massage it.
So you may ask, why bring animals into space? And science shows that interacting with animals decreases the level of cortisol. It's a stress-related hormone. And other studies have found that animals can reduce loneliness and increase feelings of social support.
So as Mark stated, bringing animals to the moon with astronauts will have beneficial effects on psychological stress and fear and anxiety. Can limit it. And also, bringing animals to the moon just will be able to be helpful for astronauts because, like I said, they will have lower stress and they'll be less emotional.
So what will it take? We're going to need funding, and this is going to build animal spacesuits.
Thank you.
Jim, I don't know where to begin on this one.
Thank you.
I might need some help. But you know, I think you have a lot of marketing majors here on your team that are doing a great job selling this idea. I think you're gonna have some problems with PETA. PETA, you know, the protect the cruelty to animals and things like that, bringing them to space. I remember in some of the missions that we launched that some of the my friends in the astronaut office actually did experiments with animals. PETA